So, is Bayonetta just like a female version of Devil May Cry? Because if it's between the two of them, I will take Bayonetta because she's just a Bay and the story's better. But I mean, you guys are guys. Would you take Devil May Cry or
Bayonetta?
Oh no, I totally fucked Dante.
Wait. Not Dante. Give me Trish from Devil May Cry, Bayonetta and Jean from Bayonetta for like a awesome 4-way, and I'll be happy.
I just want Bayonetta teaching me like how to spin on a pole, like how she does, and kick people in the face.
Oh,
if you could get Dante to do that, that would do it for me.
But see, Sally, she learned it from your best friend.
Ain't nobody used to give a damn. Yeah, I had to go and make a different plan. Yeah, guess who didn't get included? Even though you made me better, yo, I strictly do it for the fam.
Welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears.
Did you guys miss us from all the throwback stuff you've been hearing? Well, trust me, it's not gonna be the last one. You guys know us by now. It's V, Hubs, and Sally being fabulous. And to let you guys know up front, that intro you guys keep seeing, that's the last time you're gonna see it, because we got a new one prepped and everything.
Intro hype.
And today we are discussing rip-off video games.
Rip-off video games.
Is rip-off the right word? Should it be closely copied? Because sometimes the copy is better than the one at the base stuff.
That is kind of true.
But it's still technically a rip-off. I mean, Vanilla Ice did it to Queen in the music industry.
And then, what's his face that made Imposter is a ripoff of Vanilla Ice.
So,
Imposter.
but as we've seen, it's okay as long as you ask permission first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So if you take the steps and time out and say, hey, I have an idea, I'd like to work with you on this game because I saw your game and I really loved it. But I have this idea, and then you can show them, kind of what they do in the music industry. Hey, I'd like to drop this beat in my music. Is that okay? I think that's completely okay. And even especially if the guys get royalties off it, like, yeah, sure, you can use my idea as long as I get paid. It's totally cool, right?
But then you have the rip-off genre stuff of just like, I see the popularity. I see this shit.
Should we start with Super Smash Brothers and PlayStation All-Stars?
Oh, gosh.
Let's do it even better, Aaron. Let's do Super Smash, PlayStation All-Stars, and like I told you guys before we started the podcast, of Rivals of the Ether. That giant triangle type effect of like trying to get the Triforce.
Or how about Mario Kart versus Crash Racing?
Yes, I was gonna say that too.
We have a double example. Let's first go with Smash.
Okay.
Since I hadn't heard of the Rivals of the Ether before, V actually had to explain that to me before the podcast, so explain it again, V.
So basically, when the original Super Smash Bros. Was in creation from first Melee and then the handheld version in Japan, where people were trying to get mods together on the computer, this one programmer was trying to get Vaporeon to be one of the fighters for Super Smash. However, the mod didn't work out well because Nintendo found out about it, there were some legal ramifications, and the mod was taken down before it was in full production when the testing was underway. However, several years later, same programmer creates an all-elemental themed game on a similar Super Smash arena type video game with elemental animals in Rivals of the Ether. A fire lion, a water orca, dog, dolphin thing.
It was Echo the Dolphin from Sega. Just sprouted legs.
Just basically a bunch of different animals with elements fighting on Super Smash type arenas to just battle it out and duke it out.
Which Rivals of the Ether is on Steam right now.
Correct.
I did not know that.
However, it's kind of the most blatant one along with PlayStation All-Stars in the same vein of the platform sort of mentality is very, very abhorrent.
Oh, and it's like pixelated. It's a pixel game. It's not like it doesn't have the graphics of the Smash Brothers series.
No, they try to do like the whole mobile game type of graphics on the PC. Oh, and I almost forgot about Shonen Jump J-Star when they had the mobile game, and it was like Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah, the anime one.
Yeah, where Shonen Jump was like 4 fighters on an arena fighting in different mangas.
Right.
No, I think I actually played that one on PS4.
No, that was J-Star plus All-Stars. This was just J-Star.
Oh, because I was gonna say that game.
I found out about that game from Team 4-Star.
Yes.
Every fucking time.
I have another one. Tomb Raider and Uncharted.
We can go into that in a moment, but let's first
thought of
go
another one,
over
it
the
just came
Super
into my mind.
Smash scenario. So,
All right,
Aaron,
so-
Sally, let's do this.
What makes PlayStation All-Stars and Rivals of the Ether ripoffs? Well, if you've played PlayStation All-Stars and Super Smash Brothers, I think you know.
Yes.
What happens when we drag all these characters from different universes together in an ultimate battle royale to the death in order to fight an unforeseen enemy?
The only good thing about like PlayStation, the All-Star Battle Royale, whatever thing was Fat Princess. When I could just hit people with a wand. That was the only fun thing I liked about it.
As opposed to Peach, who is just like, I'm gonna bounce this ass on your face.
Right?
Well, let's get down to the basics. I think the basic thing as to what makes that game a ripoff, you have one fighting stage full of characters from, in the All-Stars category, it's all the PlayStation characters, PlayStation exclusives, Kratos and Bionic Commando, or whoever the hell that guy is. And,
Diet Dante, Isaac, Zeus, Cat from Gravity Rush.
I think Drake is in it as well.
Drake is in it.
Princess.
So it's
Fat
basically
Princess,
Sony's
Cooper.
AAA list. So it's basically that, and then you put them in Super Smash Brothers. You have the one fighting stage, you kill each other, and items drop to make you either more powerful or more defensive, blah, blah, blah. Exact same game, different character. Rivals of the Ether, from what I've seen, is at least more different than that, in that
But
the
still
animations
have the same sort of...
same premise.
Yeah.
So, total ripoffs. Smash Brothers is definitely the obvious original choice, and Nintendo was basically like, when All-Stars came out for Sony, they're just basically like, yeah, this ain't gonna hurt our sales much. You don't have as many characters as we do.
Right?
Nor are you
It's not
guys
as
going to
fun.
continue it onto multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Still
Right.
waiting on an updated one for PlayStation 4, so cockless fucks.
Now that PlayStation has expanded their character list, I should say.
Do it,
But,
so you cockless fucks.
Do it. Nintendo won't care. You ain't gonna take any money away. Fuck.
Now I
They'll-
gotta add
people
Sony
end
to
up
the
buying
next
both. But,
apology list.
but for all we know, Sony asked for permission to do it too. I don't know. I haven't ever looked into it. Second ripoff game.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart and Crash Bandicoot Racing.
Oh, the
whatever
first time.
And Jack X Combat Racing.
So my husband grew up on like PlayStation, and he wasn't really big on Nintendo. So he was like, you gotta play Crash Racing. You'll love it if you love Mario Kart. And I'm like, this is the biggest ripoff. This is terrible. Like, I'll go back to playing Yoshi and throwing like shells at Donkey. Like, leave me alone.
I'll be honest, I never played Crash Racing.
I've never played Crash, but I played the fuck out of Jack X Combat Racing, because this is the
I
thing.
didn't play that one either.
This is the thing. Comparing it to Mario Kart, you're basically people from the Jack and Daxter universe getting power-ups and then basically going to town on each other, but here's the difference. It adds stuff like Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, Deathmatch, and so forth and so on in the
So, like,
multiplayer campaign.
Mario Kart's version of like the balloons and like.
Well, I was gonna say, since those games have come out and added those, Nintendo has also added those in more recent aspects of the game. So who's the ripoff when it comes to that?
It's kind of like they had the original premise about how to do a combative racing game, but then as soon as people came out with this stuff, they were like, let's steal from our ripoffs to add to our original.
Yeah, because what are they going to do? Sue us?
The balloons were always in Mario Kart, though. Even
right, but King of the Hill?
Yeah, that was...
King of the Hill, Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Capture the Flag.
Those are all. So let's go to the far reaches of the Mario Kart, and I'm talking way out there because there is very few similarities between the two because there's not much actual racing involved. The Mortal Kombat of Mario Kart games, Twisted Metal.
Ooh, Twisted Metal.
There you go.
My favorite car combat game of all time, ever, is Twisted Metal. They had the Mortal Kombat style storyline, and it wasn't like animated. They just showed you animation or like pictures, and then the story behind it, and the characters had really deep backgrounds. But it was at its core just a car combat game. But it was very one dimensional because there was absolutely no racing in it.
You want
well,
racing?
I feel like that's different because they took like a simple an idea of like a racing game and made it different. That I don't feel like that's directly.
I'm not saying that one's a ripoff. Like I said, I'm stretching now when I bring that up. I wanted to mention Twisted Metal, and I can't wait till a new one comes out if it ever does. God, please come out with the Twisted Metal, please.
Didn't they have a sequel come out a few years ago?
They had Twisted Metal, was it Black? And that was quite a few years ago, but they remastered it on the PS3. I don't know if it's on the PS4. But that, I think, was the best Twisted Metal of the series. It had the best soundtrack, too. I mean, Paint It Black was their theme song. I'm just throwing it out there.
Now let's just segue to Uncharted versus Laura.
Yeah.
That we're getting into. I mean,
it's intercompany type of ripoff territory.
Well, what was Tomb Raider at its core? The original one. It was a platformer, a 3D platformer, much like Mario 64.
But it had the most important feature of them all, Aaron. You're forgetting those
triangle boobs.
Triangle Madonna boobs.
Do the Vogue. I'm doing it wrong. Anyways.
But the idea of they literally stuck a dick on Lara Croft and said, "Go do adventurings, Nathan Drake," and it was pretty much like.
But the story was so much better.
Well, the new Tomb Raider stories are very good.
But I also want to get into so back then I believe it was Crystal Dynamics that did the Tomb Raider series. I can't remember.
They did, from what I remember. It's been a couple of years.
And Naughty Dog existed around the same time because they did Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter and all of them.
They did Crash. They did Crash, and then I think they did Spyro for a hot second.
Yeah.
Before it bounced to a different company.
My question is, how many of those original creators back on Tomb Raider are now with Naughty Dog, or how much of the rights to the gameplay or style of gameplay? Like I said, it's a platformer. So,
Prince of Persia 2.
Prince of Persia. But again, all of those games, they're the same genre.
Yes, but
action-adventure.
There's a fundamental difference to the whole. They have the similar thing of platformers. With Lara Croft, it was the same story of archaeologist / treasure hunter / trying to find supernatural event sort of stuff that's happening. Many games tried to rip off the premise of that, being the biggest case of Nathan Drake and the Uncharted franchise, where everything was like an Indiana Jones type story that Lara Croft would do.
Yeah. And that brings me back to the whole, I wonder how much of the team is now on Naughty Dog, or how much, how many of these players shifted, or what rights Naughty Dog paid to get, to make, because it is. Sally is absolutely right. Nathan Drake is Lara Croft with a wiener.
Yep, they just was like, all right, Nathan, you see this realistic strap on? Yeah. This is
And-
what you are.
And with a backstory. I'm sorry, Uncharted's storytelling is just far better. They have some massively great story writers.
I
over at Naughty Dog.
don't know, Aaron, because the last few games before the reboot for Lara Croft were very interesting, except for the whole going back in time to try and figure out the rest of Lara Croft's forgotten history. That was just weird.
No, you didn't.
But the evolution of her bra size, though. It was
How
like,
big it got
okay.
and how it shrunk down.
No, like how she went from triangle to basically having padded. I was like, okay.
And then you had the Angelina Jolie movie.
And then the remake. And I'm like, all right, I don't mind
I think
tiny
it-
titty Lara Croft.
I think she looks pretty accurate to the new video game. I thought they cast it pretty well.
I don't
What?
mind
Wait.
tiny titty Lara Croft in video games.
Oh, for the actress that got to play Lara Croft in the new movie.
I wasn't talking about the
Looks
movie. I was talking about the game.
Really good.
Like she went from
I did.
she went from a double D to like C at best.
I did enjoy the new Lara Croft or the new Tomb Raider game or the reboot, whatever you want to call it. I did like
Yeah.
that one. It was actually really good.
It's
And-
like Lara Croft rewrote her own history when she went back in time.
Well, what it's really like is, oh shit, we didn't sue these guys for making a game with a male lead when we should have. So let's just rip them off and make one. It reminded me a lot of an Uncharted game. You know, the graphics, the game style play. There's not so much running and jumping across and platforming anymore. It's more third-person view. You know, point and click and like Uncharted. So
We're
again,
not so
it went back
different,
to.
you and I. We
Well, it
got
went
our
back.
hot,
They-
sexy, everything, and you got a guy that has to get his ass saved by an
Well,
old man and his wife.
they pulled a Nintendo and like, we didn't sue them, so let's just rip off on them because
But
they
that
stole from
seems-
us to begin with.
That seems to be the way games are going, though. Like, platformers tend to be out, and they're going more
I
for
see a
that
butt.
third-person
Yeah.
open-world thing. So it made sense why Tomb Raider had to change for the game.
Oh, by the way, since we're talking about third person and whatnot, Evil Within 2 has a first person mode.
Ooh.
So it's like Resident Evil 7. but
It was
not.
just Jenny's butt. Like I was like, I see a butt, and I was like, oh, it was just Jenny.
Anyway, so that's 2 games.
Yeah.
3.
Let's go on to 3 games. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, it is 3 because we did.
Let's go
let's-
into the
Let's go to
one.
4th.
Let's go to the one everyone wants to just talk shit about. Let's go into the entire fighting genre.
Right?
Okay, here we go.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter,
The
Tekken,
Marvel versus
vs.
DC.
Capcom,
Yeah, whatever.
Injustice
so-
1 and 2,
Yeah.
Blaze
Yeah, but
Blue,
technically,
Guilty Gear.
Technically, okay. So wait, which one's the ripoff?
Was it
That's
Street
the
Fighter
thing.
first?
Street
I
Fighter
don't
was
know.
indeed one of the first, but
One of the first, but I don't know if it was the
it came
first.
around
'cause I
the same
remember-
time as Mortal Kombat.
Well, no, I remember walking into truck stops with my, when my parents would take us on vacations, and they'd stop at a truck stop. We'd walk in, they'd have the old arcades in there. And I remember
Sally's
every
fact
single
checking.
one.
Sally's
The
fact checking.
first Street Fighter was released in 1987, August 30th.
Now, what about
And look up
King
Mortal Kombat.
of Fighters, or what was
King
the
of
other-
Fighters was another one, yes.
was Neo? What was it? Neo Geo?
I
No,
don't.
It wasn't Neo Geo.
Power Gem, Soul
No, no.
Calibur.
Nope, not Soul Calibur. That's not. No, it was in every freaking truck stop I went
No,
to.
no.
that was-
Aaron, we're going down the list of all the games that people say are ripoffs.
Mortal Kombat. Okay, when was Mortal Kombat released? 1992.
Okay, so Street
Fighter.
Fighter was the first.
Neo Geo is a system.
No, wait. The first one would have to be something from the original game systems, which could have been. There's a lot of them. Oh, there's also Punch Out that people say has like ripoffs about it.
Wow. Well, or Double Dragon.
Double Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, Battletoads.
SNK. That's what it is. SNK. King of Fighters. SNK. Which, if I'm looking at it, which is basically Street Fighter but with unknown characters.
I found one. The first fist fighting game was Heavyweight Champ in 1976.
Boom!
You